All right, what's happening? Tone Space, a Poet's Cane. It's all the same. It's an anagram, whatever, whatever. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this thing called the internal monologue. Uh, Through means of controversy, I've come across this interesting phenomenon where some people think through a voice more often than not through their own voice. Meaning, let's say you're about to plan your day, you're going to a store, you're thinking of the name of the store. In your own mind, you hear yourself talking, saying, yes, I am going to Whole Food. I am about to open the door now. Ooh, I don't have a key. I need the key to open the door. Take key. I'm gonna take the key out of my pocket, stick it in, turn the knob, open the door, like you're narrating your every move, or some computation or some frequency of that. With me, it's a 24/7 thing. The voice in my head that guides my thoughts does it completely nonstop. Maybe there's a gradient with that. Maybe certain people have what's called an internal monologue where they process their thoughts with some things and not others. So yeah, I'd really love to know what y'all think. By the end of this video, you could tell me in the comments, where do you stand? I've already dropped a couple of polls. I have a poll on this channel. Basically just asking, do you have an internal monologue? And you have three choices you could pick. You could say, yes, my voice goes off in my mind and it narrates my thoughts as my thoughts come out, right? Or maybe you have a voice, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your voice, or it may not sound like your voice. But aside from that, the very same thing. You have a voice that narrates your thought process. And then the third option is you don't have a voice that narrates your thoughts. And then if you don't, I'm crazy curious to know, well, what process do you use? Because I'm not familiar with it, it doesn't mean that I'm not recognizing it. That's what makes, at least to me, that's what makes this such a fascinating topic. As someone that only knows about thinking through voice, I want to know what it's like to think in some other type of means. Like, let's say if you're about to take somebody's life, someone may have a voice that says, yeah, I'm about to kill her, right? And then someone else, I don't know, might just see the imagery of the knife going into the person, or you might hear the sound of the flesh searing as you're doing whatever you're doing, or the choking sound, or visually watching it, but without that voice telling you to do it. What say you? And then it also goes into reading. Now, in the full version of this video, I'm going to go through some examples and delve a little deeper into this internal monologue phenomena. And we're going to find out a little bit about what it's like to read for someone that doesn't have the 24/7 ever present internal monologue. Now, some people, from little polls and actual real world discussions I've been doing, some people will say that when they read, they do hear their voice, or if they happen to know the voice of whatever they're reading, of whoever wrote it, they may actually hear that person's voice. I'm of that category. If I'm reading something from someone and I know that person's voice, it reads in my mind through that person's voice. But aside from that, if there's no one attached to it, or if it's my own writing, it reads through my own voice, right? So there's some people in which the chatter starts in their mind only when they're reading something, right? But through general day-to-day thought processes, they do not think in that same way. And I think that's a very good way for those that don't have internal monologues or have some frequency of low internal thinking monologue. It's a very good way to express it. It's like, all right, if you hear a voice when you read, do you hear that voice just when you think in every other's thinking scenario, right? And I've heard some people that say no. Some people say they see images. There's people that are just, it's not like you're not thinking just because you don't have an internal monologue. I've spoken to someone brilliant that doesn't quite have it, at least to the frequency that I do, the 24/7 chatter going on in the head, yet they think things through and everything. So it's like, what is the process? And then it makes you wonder, is it like a detachment? Because that's how I kind of look at it. Like, because it's like, think of it, you're hearing a voice. So it's almost like as if it is another person that's talking to you, even though it's yourself. Now, me being someone that just used to assume that everyone thinks this way, I just figured that's our higher self, our soul, whatever you want to call it, that's beyond just the human form. But if some people don't have an internal monologue, I just not gonna write them off and say, oh, they're soulless or they're just a drone NPC or something, programmed thing walking around. Although, who knows, that could be part of it too. But what is the process? It's brilliant people out there, soulful people out there that don't necessarily hear that ever-present voice in when they're expressing their thoughts. You know, so what is it like for those people? Do you just do it through seeing images? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Now, even though I'm new to this phenomenon or whatever, I do recall in my younger years wondering. Now, mind you, this is under the assumption of me thinking that every single human being has the inner voice as their means of thinking. I do remember thinking, what if a person grows up and never learns a language? How do they talk to themselves? You get what I'm saying? Like how does their internal monologue work? And now, knowing that there's some people that don't think like that, probably a lot of people, according to studies, it kind of makes sense. It lets me know, okay, there are other faculties of thought that can be put to use to help people get by and to, do whatever they got to do. So yeah, is it like, those that don't hear a voice? Is it like maybe a kinship or a closeness that you have with your soul, where it's like you're so attached to it, where you just do not notice that there is an internal dialogue going on? You can't distinguish between your thoughts and the actual narration of them? Or is it that you just don't have that narration going on and there's something else going on, right? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go to some examples. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click the link down below. It'll take you to the Rumble channel, Poets Cane Rumble channel, and you'll get to see the full version of this video. In fact, whenever this video ends, if you're on YouTube, that is the timestamp. You'll be able to go on Rumble and just flip it to, so you don't got to watch all the beginning stuff again, and you'll get to see the rest of the video.